So I watched Ginny and Georgia, and yeah, this show sucks. Okay, and not in a good way. Ginny and Georgia, a show that sparked plenty of conversations for its blend of drama, humor, some questionable choices, but let's be honest, it sucks. From inconsistent character development to pacing, it often feels incomplete. This show often misses the mark completely. The premise is intriguing, blending family dynamics with teenage struggles, but it feels like it's trying to do too much without really nailing any of it. My first problem with Ginny and Georgia is character development, and this is where they drop the ball. Ginny is presented as our thoughtful teen navigating complex issues like her racial identity, mental health, and family tension. Yet her character feels so inconsistent. 1 minute she's introspective, trying to grapple with her reality in the world, and the next is some cliche high school drama. This erratic portrayal leaves me questioning who she really is. I see Jenny struggling with her biracial identity, which could create some deep storylines, but instead her narrative gets lost in the surrounding chaos, making it hard for viewers like me to really connect with her struggles. For instance, her relationship with her white friends could have been a gold mine for exploring complexities of fitting in, but it ends up feeling pretty shallow. Then there's Georgia. For this character, they totally missed the mark. On paper, she's interesting. A loving mother with a dark past. Try to balance her secrets with her protective instinct. But the way she switches between these sides is jarring. And it's tough to grasp what drives her choices. I'm left without clear understanding of why she does what she does, aside from some vague survival instinct. It's frustrating because you really want to know more about these characters, but it seems like they are holding off on their full potential. My next problem with the show is Ginny's friend group. These people are supposed to be the ones guiding her through her high school experience. For example, Maxine is her high energy friend, the one who brings the noise. While her charisma is fun, we don't really get to know her beyond surface level traits. She often serves as the comic relief, but that's at the expense of real depth. It's a missed opportunity to show how a supportive friend can help navigate tricky issues, especially for Ginny. Plus, Maxine's storyline lean heavily on typical teen antics instead of diving deeper into her character. Sure, her loyalty is great, but I want more from the friendship. And I find that the scenes where Max is in, the emotional scenes, she's actually an amazing performer. Her character is actually great, and we don't really get a lot of those type of moments. And Nora's presence is basically forgettable. She is there, but what does she really bring to the table? Unfortunately, she fades into the background as the season progresses, making it hard for me to care about her. She could have been a great way to explore themes of loyalty or self-discovery, but instead, she feels like a prop, a filler friend, to be exact, just for the hell of it. The next character is Abby, and Abby, on the other hand, has potential. Her insecurities hit home and her struggles resonate, but the show doesn't give her story attention it needs. This show is allergic to giving real good characters any depth or screen time, which is so frustrating because they'll give the least important character screen time, the most screen time for doing nothing. Abby is a great character. This conflict could have opened the door for deeper conversations about friendship and loyalty, yet Abby's storyline often feels like an afterthought, like the writers just wrote her in just because. And the show misses the chance to flesh her character out, which is a bummer because could have added significant depth to Ginny's journey. My other issue with this is pacing. This show jumps between plot lines so quickly that it's hard to keep up. 1 minute we're diving into Georgia's mystery past, and the next we're back to high school drama. It was so hard to watch this and write it down on my notes because there was so much happening in such little time that I couldn't really grapple what was happening, and I felt overwhelmed. I nearly never did this video because it was just so hard to write down what was going on because we were jumping from a dramatic scene to a funny one right after. 1 minute we're diving into Georgia's mystery past, and the next we're back in high school drama, often without a smooth transition, which is mind-boggling because it seems like the writers tried to cram too much into one season. Georgia's background, which could have been explored over several episodes, feels rushed and tackled on at the end. I get snippets of her history, and while it's intriguing, it doesn't have the space to breathe. Her life's complexities could have made a solid narrative thread, but they get muddled with all the high school drama. Meanwhile, the show lingers way too long on trivial teen issues that don't contribute to the larger story. And that's my other problem with it, that it lingers way too long on trivial teen issues that don't contribute to the main plot at all. It kind of reminds me of Riverdale. Riverdale is a perfect example of a show that tried to be one thing but descended into a completely different thing. And it's not like Ginny and Georgia knew. It doesn't feel like they knew what they wanted to do the first season. It is literally not apparent. I really don't know if they wanted a teen soap opera or a murder mystery, a thriller. And that's one of my big issues with this, is that they don't even know what the story is about. My next issue with this is the themes. The show tries to tackle some serious themes, but it doesn't really commit. Ginny's journey with racial identity, mental health, and the quest for acceptance could have hit hard, yet these topics often feel brushed over or wrapped up too neatly. For example, there are moments where Ginny faces microaggressions, but they get resolved way too quickly, missing a chance for deeper discussion. Also, the way mental health struggles are portrayed could use some work. While the series hints at Ginny's depression and anxiety, it often leans on cliches instead of generally exploring what she's going through. I really truly think the writers really wanted to go the deeper route, but they kinda missed the mark when they made it into a teen soap opera drama. And I mainly think they did that for popularity reasons so that they get picked up for another season. But this doesn't excuse bad writing and a bad plot. This makes for a portrayal that feels more like a checkbox exercise than anything impactful. So while the themes are ambitious, the execution is lacking. There's potential for meaningful storytelling here, but it remains untapped, leading to a show that skims the surface without ever really diving into any of them. As we head into season 2, you'd expect the relationship between Ginny and Georgia to grow. Right? Nope. We find them stuck in the same cycle. Ginny wants independence while Georgia clings to control, making for a repetitive back and forth that leaves both characters feeling stagnant. The tension is there, but instead of developing, it just seems to regress. I see Ginny struggling with her identity and choices, yet her relationship with Georgia remains a source of conflict without any real growth. There's no meaningful resolutions or dialogue that pushes either character forward. And the supporting cast, they're not faring much better. Maxine, who had some promise, quickly turns into a stereotype, losing her edge. Marcus, his brooding act is wearing thin, leaving me wondering if there's any depth to him we haven't seen yet. The show doesn't seem to know how to develop these characters further, so they end up feeling flat and uninteresting. And being the same as in season 1 with no character growth or development at all. And my next problem with this is superficial themes. Season 2 tries to introduce darker themes around Ginny's mental health, but again, it feels like the writers don't dig deep enough. There's so much potential for meaningful storytelling, but we end up with surface level glimpses that never fully tackle the complexity of her struggles. It feels like they care more about ticking off boxes than crafting a coherent narrative, which is crazy because I would think someone would want a coherent narrative rather than checking all the boxes. And while I see Ginny grappling with her emotions, her mental health journey often takes a backseat to more sensational plot lines. The show presents these issues without adequately exploring their nuances, which can be frustrating for viewers like me looking for authentic representation of these situations which happen in real life. But they took the more melodramatic route to these real issues, where they could have taken a real route and would have connected with a broad audience, because so many people are going through this. And my other issue with Ginny and Georgia is the handling of supporting characters. The supporting characters also miss the mark. For example, Zion, Ginny's father, has potential for a richer narrative, but he often gets sidelined or comes off as a token character. The same goes for Joe and the mayor, who seem more like plot devices than fully developed individuals. Their backstories and motivations are pretty undercooked, leaving them feeling like props in Ginny and Georgia's drama. Because of this, the show's attempts to create a strong supporting cast feels half-hearted. I really need to see more integration of these characters into the main story if I'm ever going to care about their roles in Ginny and Georgia's lives. And I feel really strongly about this because Zion and Joe are the two of the most entertaining characters on this show, but those guys get less and less screen time as the episodes progress, which is a bummer because they are both incredible actors. Not only that, their characters actually have motives and character arcs. They don't stay stagnant for the whole season, unlike Max and Marcus, who just feel like the same person as episode 1. It's a shame that I couldn't see more of their performance. So where does that leave us? Ginny and Georgia had potential, but often stumbles through its executions. It juggles themes that could lead to deep storytelling, but ends up sacrificing depth for patchwork of shallow narratives. While it's not a total loss, the show certainly leaves much to be desired, with inconsistent character development, pacing issues, and themes that are often brushed aside. It's hard to say this show is anything more than average. So if you're looking for a series that really delves into the complexities of life, you might want to look elsewhere. But hey, that's just my take on it. But hey, it's Netflix after all, so what do you expect? See you in the next video. Peace.